Okay, so guys, last class we started with exceptions concept and we just understood what you mean by exception, and then we also explored what is exception handling, how a try catch block can be used. There's some problem here. Okay, how try catch block can be used, and then I also discussed about what do you mean by runtime exception and compile time exception. Fine. But now in interview, they'll ask you exception class hierarchy. This is what is going to happen. They will tell you, can you please tell me Java exception classes hierarchy? So in order to understand that now, we will just here open this particular image and I will start explaining how this exception class hierarchy looks like. Where is it? Here. Okay, so let's analyze this diagram now. Okay, the exception class hierarchy. So firstly, the parent class, the supermost class, the parent class in exception that you see here is throwable. You can just go here and you can open that class. Okay, we will all try to one by one open the classes and see the hierarchy structure. Observe. I'm going to type here throwable. Now throwable is the supermost class. You just open that up. It implements serializable. We'll discuss about serializable further when we learn serialization, deserialization in Java. Right now serializable is just a marker interface. It's an empty interface. If you open that up, you can see there is nothing in it. It's an empty interface. So what is the purpose of empty interface? We'll see later. But this is where your exception starts with. This is your parent class. Which is the parent class? Throwable. Now throwable has a child class called as exception. So if you just go here now and open this exception class, just press control key on your keyboard and open this class. Just press the control key on your keyboard and perform a click. This is child class of what? Throwable. See how they have arranged the classes. So now we have here throwable class. Okay, we have here what? Throwable class, and its child class is what? Now further, this exception class has another child class called as runtime exception. You can see this here. If you now go back and type here runtime exception, and if you open control click, observe when you now open this up control and click, see this here, runtime exception is a child class of, and exception is a child class of. Now from here, any class that is a child class of runtime exception will come under unchecked exception category or runtime exception category. So we have a throwable class, exception class, runtime exception. Now further, any child class of runtime exception, any Java class which is a child class of runtime exception will come under the category runtime or unchecked exception, meaning these exceptions will occur. These exceptions will occur when you run a dot class file. Let's see one by one here. Let's see one by one. Firstly, I'll open arithmetic exception class. Okay, just type ARITH control space bar. Press the control key, click. What is the child class of this? This is a child class of which? Runtime. So this will come under the category now runtime exception. These exceptions are seen when you run a dot class file and not during compilation. So compilation will be successful. These exceptions will not be seen during compilation. These exceptions will be seen when you run your .class file. That's the meaning. Did you understand, everyone? Everybody got it? Okay. Next, observe here. I have null pointer exception. This is again child class of what? So let's go here. Let's make it null pointer exception. Null pointer exception. Click open. Null pointer exception is runtime child class. So this comes under unchecked or checked? Unchecked. See the diagram till here. Observe. Throwable, exception, runtime, arithmetic, null pointer. So these two are unchecked exception classes. They are all what? Unchecked or runtime exception. We will learn these classes and exceptions in detailed manner. But for now, just understand the structure of classes. Then we have index out of bounds exception. So let's go here. Let's type index out of bounds exception. Okay, that's okay, no problem. We'll open this up. See again. Let's go back 1 minute. Okay, index out of bounds exception. Control key click. It is child class of what? So this comes under checked or unchecked? Unchecked. Now further I have array index. So array index is a child class of index, and index is a child class of, ultimately again it is unchecked. You can see this here. The next one, array index out of bound exception. Array index out of bounds exception. Open this up. Array index out of bound exception is again a child class of, and index out of bound exception is, see this hierarchy. We don't know what these exceptions are. We are just studying how the classes are organized here. In your Java, how these exception classes are organized, and when do we tell it is runtime and when do we tell it is compile time. Any class which is a child class of runtime becomes unchecked or runtime exception. That is what we are right now trying to understand. Now see, next one is illegal argument exception. Let's go here. Type illegal argument exception. Control key click. What is it now? Correct? So this is runtime. Same way, the next one we have number format exception. Number format exception. This is child class of illegal argument, and illegal argument is a child class of runtime. Is this clear, everyone? So next, class cast exception. Let's see this here. Class cast, control space bar, control key click, verify. See now, is this part of the diagram clear? Huh? Is this part of the diagram clear? So arithmetic exception comes under runtime, null pointer, array index, number format, class cast exception. They're all part of your unchecked or runtime exception. Very commonly, they will call this as unchecked exceptions in interview. Okay. Now let's look at checked exceptions. Let's look at checked exceptions. Let's see that. Now checked exceptions are exception classes directly which is child class of. So it is throwable, exception, and directly child class of any class that is a child class of exception. Any class that is a child class of exception is called as checked exception. Is this clear, everyone? Now any class that is a child class of exception is called as checked exception. Let's go back here now. Observe. So now what I'll do, I'll close this all. Okay, let's try this one by one. Let's try this one by one. Okay, so firstly, okay, let's right click and close tabs to the left. close all. Okay, open this up. Yeah. Now observe the next thing. The first one that I'm going to talk about is SQL exception. So let's open this up. SQL exception. Press the control key, click on it. It is child class of what? So any class, child class of exception is checked or unchecked? Checked. And that is called as compile time exception. Did you understand now? Yes? Okay. Next. Observe. SQL transient exception. It is child class of, and SQL is child class of, and exception is child class of. Very good. So let's start with SQL transient exception. Let's go here. SQL transient exception. Open that up. Child class of, and SQL is child class of. So ultimately this is checked exception. SQL syntax error exception. SQL syntax error exception. Child class of, and this is child class of, and this is child class of. Observe. So parent, child, its child. That's why 1, 1.1, 1.1.1, and this is child of, and exception is child class of. Did you all get this? Everyone, did you understand this part? Now let's see, IO exception is child of. So this again comes under the checked exception category. IO exception. See? Yes or no? So this again comes under which category? Checked exception. File system exception. Let's look at here. File system exception. File system, okay, exception. Open this up. Child class of IO exception. IO exception is child class of. So ultimately, okay. Next, IO exception. Its child is, and its child is. Did you understand the hierarchy? Same way, file not found exception is a child of IO exception. Did you understand now? You can check that file not found. Check this out. File not found exception is a child class of, and IO is a child class of. Okay. Next, reflective operation exception, class not found exception. If you now look at class not found exception, just type here class not found exception. Open this up. Child class of, and this is child class of. So ultimately, this part of my diagram are all checked exceptions. This diagram you have to remember. In interviews, they will ask you a question, give me Java exception class hierarchy. What they will ask you? Give me Java exception class hierarchy. That is what they are going to ask you. So be clear about it. This diagram practice 10 times. So actually throwable has two classes, error and exception. How many classes it has? Error and exception. See, so if I now type here error, that is also a class. If I open that up, it extends. So actually the diagram is, our throwable is a parent for exception and error. We'll discuss about error later. Now exception child class runtime. मेरे को नहीं मालूम. Right? Is this clear, everyone? Everybody got this now? Okay, observe here now. Throwable has error and exception. Exception basically has runtime, and directly the class which is child of this. I hope this part is clear. Everybody got this part now? Any questions, queries, do you have it here? Please tell me. Okay. Now, let us continue further. Okay. Let us continue further. And what we will do now is we will explore these classes one by one. I will explore these classes one by one with the help of these notes. So I'm going to start with runtime exception first. But before that, students, for last time, just see this diagram. I'll give you 1 minute time. Okay, let's start. Now observe, we are going to start with arithmetic exception. Now when this exception will occur? This exception will occur when invalid mathematical operations are performed. Example, I'm dividing a number by 0. Let's assume I'm dividing a number by 0, and now when I try to print here welcome, you observe what will happen now is it will cause us exception at line number 8, and because of which further code is not running. But if you observe now, this exception is occurring only when I right click and run my Java application. This is runtime. Only when you select this option run as Java application means it is running .class file. When I'm taking the steps here, it is picking up the .class file. Okay, so your .class file is automatically generated here. If you right click, go to properties, go to your project path, and if you now open P1, here it is a.java, you see automatically it is compiled in bin folder and a.class is present. Eclipse takes care of this. You need not worry about compilation. You just type the program and save, it gets compiled. 12:07 p.m. Now see, I'll modify this a bit. Let me go ahead, add more code. Something I did, save it. 12:08. Can you see the file? Can you see the file? It got modified. Got it? So this .class file is automatically generated now. I'm not getting any exception when this program is getting converted to .class file. This exception I got it when I run that .class file. Yes or no? That's why it is runtime. Did you understand now? Everyone? Now let's surround this in a try catch block. Let's take a try and catch block, and here this will be handled using arithmetic exception e dot print stack trace. Run this and see. It is printing welcome, no doubt. Reason, exception is handled. Since exception is handled, our program is continuing further and executing. Can you read this line quickly? People, can you read this line? Online students, please read this. Okay, output of the program, exception message, and then what? Welcome. Invalid mathematical operation, I'm dividing 10 by what? 0. Now, we will look at another arithmetic exception, percentage operator. What this does, it gives us the reminder. If I divide 10 by 2, reminder is 0. 11 by 2, reminder is 1. 12 by 2, reminder is 0. 15 by 2, 2 sevens are 14, reminder is 1. Okay, 18 by 2 remainder is, so if you want to find the remainder, then I can just use here percentage operator. Correct, no? What is the remainder? 0. 11 divided by 2. What is the remainder? But now, what if I try to divide by 0? Exception. Did I handle it? That's why it is printing welcome. Is the second example clear, online students? Right? Are you able to understand? Everyone? Online students are not at all there now. Over there. I have to say to you, after a few months, that learning enthusiasm, everything will keep reducing. Earlier, moment I ask, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Now look at that. Now what? Right? So keeping your mind stable and focused is the first challenge that you have it now to complete the course. That is the first challenge. If you somehow complete the course, you will end up getting through. In between, some other mindset gone. Okay. Anyways, let's continue. Now observe the next one. The next one we will look at is second exception called as null pointer exception. This exception will occur when with null reference variable we try to access non-static members of the class. With a null reference variable, you try to access non-static members of the class. Let's see this here. Now, I'm going to delete this all. I will create here int x is equal to 10. A1 is equal to null. Control Shift F. Formatted. What is present in A1? So with the null value present in this A1, which is a reference variable, if I access x, A1 dot x, further will it print welcome. Check this out. Stops at line 8. Yes or no? How do we handle it now? Now, replace this with E dot. Now will it handle? Yes. I hope this part is clear, all of you. See the program once. Sir, how we will handle these things in project? We will tell you, don't worry about that. I'll explain this, how this can be handled in the projects. Project level explanation will be further. Firstly, just understand Java now. Okay, when we do the projects, that's where understanding will keep getting better and better. Everybody clear with this example? Very good. But if I create an object, will it work? Is there any exception now? Huh? No. So it should print 10 and then what? Welcome. Now convert this static variable, non-static variable to static. Now what will happen? I've already explained this earlier. With a reference variable, you cannot access non-static variable. So this will get converted to, so your exception will not occur. Did you understand this point? Why exception did not occur? Tell me. I've already explained this earlier. With a reference variable, when you access static member, it is automatically replaced a1.x with capital A.x. So you don't see any null pointer exceptions here. Observe the program. Did you understand what's happening at line 9? What is happening at line 9? Because x is static variable, you cannot access with a1. So a1 is getting replaced with what? Capital A.x. Okay. Okay. So this example is clear. Shall we proceed further? Now, have I given you some assignments, unary operators? Okay, good. You've already done that. Data types and typecasting? Already done that. Default constructors, have we discussed about it? Yes. Already explained that. Default constructors examples are covered, no? Very good. Now, we are going to look at the next type of exception, number format exception. You have seen data types and typecasting. Tell me what we were doing in typecasting. You are converting a particular data type to required data type. This conversion from a particular data type to required data type. This conversion from a particular data type to required data type, typecasting was useful. But now, have you ever seen in my earlier assignment lecture here, in this assignment lecture, have you seen me converting string to integer? Hey, which means you did not see my lectures properly. I never did that. Where did I convert a string to integer? Did I convert a string value to integer? No. Then how come people are telling yes? If you want to convert a string, for example, I have a string value here. String. Let's delete this part. String x is equal to 100. I want to convert the string value 100. I want to convert the string value 100, which is in double quotes, to integer. Have I done that earlier? That was not done. Correct? Because string is a class in Java. Whatever conversion we saw in our assignment videos, they are for data types, primitive data types, not for a conversion from a string class to the required data type. Now, how do we do this? How do I convert a string value to a particular required data type? So, we have a concept here called as wrapper classes. For every primitive data type, there is a built-in Java class. I have covered wrapper classes in depth manner. In my future lectures, I will be discussing about it. But for now, I'll discuss only one simple point. For every data type, there is a wrapper class. Can you tell me what is the difference between data type and wrapper class? What is the difference between data type and a class? What does a class consist of? Methods. What do you write down in those methods? Some logic. A class has methods, a class has constructors, a class has variables. Yes or no? This is what a class is comprised of. Tell me, what does a class consist of? It consists of methods, it consists of constructors, then correct. Now, when I say primitive type, this is not a class. It does not have any methods inside it. It does not have any variables, constructors inside it. But if you look at byte, if you just go here and now if you type byte, open this class by pressing control key, control O. Can you see this class has so many static final variables, then it has so many methods, constructors, yes or no? So many things it has got. Which means whenever I'm using byte class, it has lot of built-in methods and variables, which can help my logic building to be made easier. This class comes with a predefined set of methods which can make my logic building easier. But if I now use byte, do we have anything in byte? Right? See, it is internally going back to what? Wrapper class only. But if you look at byte, when I store it as x is equal to 100, and when I now try to access some methods, x dot, am I getting any methods? But if I now type here byte, and now if I do x dot, am I getting methods? This extra functionality of accessing built-in utility methods to manipulate this value, only a wrapper class can give you. Are you understanding now? A wrapper class has lot of built-in methods which can make your data manipulation easy. Example, I will now just convert this to double. So I'll use a method. I'm not using data type casting. I'll use a method, double value, x dot double value. When I run, see, am I doing it with the help of method or am I doing it with some logic building? Method. Change this to byte. Can I access this? So wrapper classes comes with lot of built-in methods that will become beneficial for your development. But that's not the reason why wrapper class was introduced. Wrapper classes was introduced for data structures concept in Java, which we will see in future. Okay, we cannot discuss about that now. We will see that in future. But for now, you need to understand string x is equal to 100. Now, if you want to convert a string value to integer, I have a wrapper class. I have a wrapper class. This wrapper class is called as integer.parseInt. Okay, this wrapper class is called as integer, and that has a method parseInt. You see, parses the string argument as a signed integer, decimal integer, digits. Are you understanding now? So this will take the string value, and you see that it is converting that to integer. So now we found a way how to convert a string value to integer, which otherwise was not possible. We are thankful to wrapper class because that gives us a method called as parseInt. You just supply integer to this parseInt, which is a static method. Press Ctrl key and open. What kind of method is this? So it takes input as string and it takes input as string and it returns back. So that logic writing is none of our job. Leave that. And this throws a number format exception when something goes wrong. Meaning, for now, I'm able to convert string to number. But suppose in your double quotes you have characters, alphabets, then you cannot convert that to number. That's where a number format exception we get. Did you understand now? What kind of strings can be converted to number is only a string in double quotes if there is a number that will get converted to a number. Are you understanding now? 500 converted. But if I now write alphanumeric value, it cannot. So there is a limitation. If you want to convert a string to integer in that double quotes, there has to be purely a number. Did you understand example 1? Now suppose I want to convert a string to double. I have a string here. Okay. Anything in double quotes is string. This is a string. Now, if I try to convert to double, is it getting converted? But if you add some alphabets, special characters, is it getting converted? No. Remove this. Now run. Is this getting converted? Yes. So we use double. Like this, we have byte dot parse byte, long dot. So for every data type you want to convert string to, we can use this parser methods. Is this clear? Example 4. This will give you exception. We will handle that. Don't worry. Right? So let's handle these exceptions. Let's handle these exceptions. How do you handle it? Take this, use a try catch block, and then you're going to now put here number format exception, which occurs. Number format exception occurs when invalid conversion from string to number is done. Okay, let's run. Is this clear? Now observe here. If you just go back, see the notes. When do we get number format exception? Can you read this? Okay, number format exceptions, we will get it when an invalid conversion from a string to number has been done. Is this part clear? All of you? Yes. Any questions, queries, students? Please tell me. Do you want to practice this much? Huh? Yes or no? Do you want to now practice this much and come back the next class? Shall we stop here then? Yes? Okay. So practice this much. Next class, I'll continue from here further.